Holy cow, it's Thursday night again. Welcome, everybody. It is HWR Hardcore Wrestling Radio's Four Corner Rants. I am the host, Joseph Scoldren Knight. And, man, do we got a lot of topics to go through. We have a lot. As you can see on the screen, there's been a bunch of news going on. And I got to say, we're just going to have some fun. I'm going to start welcoming everybody who's watching. Samantha Huber, we have Johnny Sway, we have Mrs. A and BC from BC Games and More. We have our great guy George. He's out there. He's the one that bought the shirt. That's Lance's cue to scream. Thank you, Lance. We almost lost that there. Come on, George. Come on, Lance. We got to get marketing here. We got to do this.
What's the shirt, bitches?
Yeah, there you go. But folks, we got a lot to go on, and today, as you can see, we have an action-packed show on your screen. We got a lot to talk about. Let me introduce the hardcore crew. First of all, he is my partner in professional wrestling. We've been in and out on both sides of the ring. He is Zoe.
The Uber of Westchester.
See, he's waited all week for that.
Oh, man. Always a pleasure to just hear that coming out of her mouth. It's like, like Dove chocolate.
Sure. Had a great night with most of the crew. I understand some of us couldn't make it, but the HWR crew invaded Lance Moss TV and Friends last night. Had a great time. So let's have some fun tonight.
Absolutely. And she is the Vicious Vixen from Kentucky's Own Wrestling. And before you do that, everybody take a look at your screen. This is what happens when Zoe says Uber of Westchester.
The Gagoosha.
There's that woodpecker, damn it.
Oh, Lord.
Put that woodpecker away. That's my woodpecker.
Okay, we're putting that
Oh,
away.
my God.
Don't worry, I will not be playing with woodpecker, I promise.
We're starting already. She is the Vicious Vixen of Kentucky's Own Wrestling, Zoe Nightshade.
You know it, and I do have to add something to it this time around. I am the proud manager of Kentucky's Own Wrestling, newest tag team champions, Carnage.
All right, big congratulations there. I remember there back in 1982 when I managed two tag teams to various tag team goals. So definitely it's a big important moment.
It's a great thing when you hold the gold. There's nothing like it. Trust me, I know the feeling.
There you go. So big congrats to your team, Johnny Swade and Big Frank Vanover, Carnage, Kentucky's Own Wrestling. So we have, let me just say, we're going to have a packed crew here. Finally, he is the warden of this insane asylum. He is the one that tries to keep us in order, but it all runs off in different directions. He is the Commissioner Gordon of our Gotham Arkham City. So he is... You know, I'm actually thinking of getting that costume, the actual Adam West one. He is
really?
Rickhead.
What's going on, guys? Another fucked up HWR show. We haven't even got to the news yet, so for those of you who have very thin skin, you might want to leave now.
See,
Get the fuck out.
You can tell he's already thinking of me in that tight Adam West Batman suit.
You know how we are. Why are you here if you're thin skinned?
All right. Well, you know what, folks? We're going to skip the rumors part because there is so much to talk about. First of all, tomorrow night at 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on your local cable networks, it's a pay-per-view presented by Ring of Honor. It is Death Before Dishonor. So if you get a chance, check out Ring of Honor's pay-per-view tomorrow night at 6 o'clock, which is weird, I admit. You know, normally pay-per-views don't start to 8. Ring of Honor starting at 6 on a Friday night.
And they're normally on a Sunday, not a Friday.
Exactly. So it's kind of weird. So, you know, most people are getting home from work at that time, but, you know, if you do on home, check it out. I am gonna check it out. I want to give my utmost opinion on it because it's time that we head out and check out other indie shows as well. But let's start it off. Rick, you know what? Paige went on live and started talking about Sasha Banks because apparently Sasha Banks has been getting a lot of heat for taking Paige out of commission. This is Paige sets the record straight regarding her last match with Sasha Banks. Nothing was ever Sasha's fault. She, Sasha Banks, got so much backlash, and even in the ring, as we were in there, people started chanting, Sasha sucks. It really upsets her to hear that because it wasn't her fault. The thing with her is, right, that move where she kicks her in the back, she had taken that move so many times previously that she was very stubborn about it. She thought that she could get in there and do it. So, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I got to say one thing. What Sasha got was a whiplash effect, and it pretty much put her out of commission. Now she is the general manager of SmackDown. Rick, I'm going to go on record. It was Sasha Banks' fault because this is not the first time that something like this has happened because of her recklessness.
I'll agree with you there. I mean, it's no big shock that Sasha Banks has, they got injured a lot, actually, speaking real quick. Sasha Banks was injured during the Mixed Match Challenge, and she's been pulled from the tournament. Mickie James is now covering for her. But you know what? There are situations where both people are at fault. Or I think, again, Paige took that spot where she was just coming off of a neck injury, a serious neck injury, and to do that kind of a move, it's just not smart. So at the end of the day, you really got to look at Paige in this particular situation, and you got to put it on her.
Exactly. Well, it's both parties involved. Paige should have not been in there too early, and Sasha should have not been in there. Should have not done that kick. But we will be talking about other stuff like that too. But go ahead, Rick.
One last note is that actually Paige, she asked for that spot. She said, "Go ahead, I can take it." So she asked for it. This was not just something that did on the fly. Exactly.
And again, it's it's something that it happened, and it's bad because it actually puts a person like Sasha Banks in that position where she becomes the problem. And we'll talk about other botches later on. Zoe, when somebody does a move, when somebody comes back from an injury, especially something as severe as what Paige went through, she should have not been in that position in the first place to be kicked in the back. She should have just done her limited stuff, tag outs, and let other people take over.
Oh, exactly. And I mean, honestly, if you go back and watch Sasha Banks and all these matches leading up to that point, you can actually see a change in Sasha. She was becoming careless with the moves that she pulled. I mean, botches, they're going to happen. It depends on you to make sure that you know what you're doing to your opponent while you are in that ring. Their life is in your hands. Their career is in your hands.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go to you, Lance. What do you think about what Paige said? It's a two-sided coin here.
Well, one, I think, came a little bit from somewhere up the ladder, if you know what I'm saying. But also, I kind of think her having that career-ending accident kind of takes two to tango, if you know what I'm saying. I think it was a botch on both parts, but I definitely understand why they're trying to take the heat off of Sasha because, well, she's still currently on the roster.
Yeah, you know what? And that's a good point. Ever since that match, she has been neglected down and pushed down to being, Bailey's little partner, and they really haven't accomplished anything. Johnny, last word. You've been in the ring, and you've seen injuries. What do you think?
First of all, we're all professionals in that ring. Okay, that's the first thing. In this business, you're here to work with each other. The better you guys work with each other, the more money you're gonna make. You hurt your opponent, you're not gonna make any money. Plain and simple. That's how it goes. I didn't see the match. I didn't know what transpired before, but from what Rick was saying, if Paige told Sasha, "Listen, do the move. I can take it," I think that was her decision. She thought she was able to take the move. If she wasn't able to take it, she got injured. I don't know why the problem is being put on Sasha Banks. She just did what she thought was good for the match to get it going.
I can take it. Isn't that what she said on some of the videos?
Yeah, and she's actually took it on the women's title with Paige.
So again, like I said, we're all professionals in that ring. We're there to work with each other, not against each other.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's kind of a sticky situation.
Yeah, but it is a sticky situation. Ask Xavier Woods. So again, things happen in the ring. So put the blame on one, put the blame on the other. Shit happens.
With so many things that goes on, Sasha was made into the cannon fodder there because she did do the kick, and I think in the essence, that's why you're seeing her in the current scenario that she is right now. Because she was a big time player. Now she's neglected down to this. I know she's probably not happy with where she's at, but that's what happens. And sometimes Seth Rollins went through that as well when he took out Sting. It does happen with both parties. Quick thing here, Sasha Banks also, since we're out talking about Sasha Banks, is she injured? Again, WWE decided to pull her from the Mixed Match Challenge. And is this another downgrade, Rick?
Well, right now, like I said, she's injured. So she could be out for, like I said, the tournament itself, if I'm not mistaken, is at least 3 or 4 weeks. And she has had knee injuries in the past. Her knees have been her biggest Achilles heel, so to speak. So when she took that bump, she could have easily had thrown that knee out again. So it could be a few months. So hopefully, if she comes back, maybe she can hit the reset button. Because sometimes, as bad as injuries get, we don't want to see anybody injured when you're gone and you come back. You might come back with a different style or a different personality. Dean Ambrose is the perfect example.
Yep, absolutely. And right now, so it is a legitimate injury. Rick?
Yes, it is a legitimate injury, but again, WWE is not talking at the moment. So how long she could be out, whether it be weeks or months, no idea. Not this time anyway.
And we all seen what WWE does if somebody's injured, especially someone who's fallen so far down the totem. They kind of put on the side for a while until they actually see a need for them. So, we're going to talk about a little bit about injuries because this Monday, it's been all over the internet and it's been all over news medias and everything. Liv Morgan was injured in a match with her Riot Squad teammates and the Bellas and Ronda Rousey. Or was it Natalia? Was it Natalia?
Natalia.
Okay, with Natalia. And again, everybody who knows me, they know I hate the Bella bitches. They've slept their way to the top. They have no skills whatsoever, and Brie continues to show that she is not ready for her return. And why does WWE keep pushing these two no-talent sluts is beyond me. But, what we saw Monday was very careless. She was going for her own personal ego and glory. And it cost, Liv Morgan a few minutes in the match. And I don't mean just a few minutes that she didn't get to wrestle. A few minutes that she was completely knocked out. This past Monday on Raw, Brie Bella botched the yes kick on Liv Morgan when Brie slammed her knee right into Morgan's face. WWE did confirm that Liv Morgan did sustain a concussion, but did not say if she's going to miss it anytime soon. Corey Graves went out and defended Brie. I guess he's looking to get on the Bella's good side so he can sleep with Nikki. So he kind of blamed that accidents happen and all that. No, Corey, this was not an accident. This was somebody grandstanding. This is somebody going out of their way to be better than everybody else, and she let her ego get in the way, and she slammed her knee onto somebody else's face, and then not once but twice. Liv Morgan was actually, and fans caught this, it was all over YouTube, Twitter, and everything, where fans actually recorded this, where you see Liv Morgan actually is unconscious. She did suffer from memory loss, and if you continue looking at that video, the Riot Squad members, Ruby Riot herself and Sarah Logan, were really pissed off. I mean, there were legitimate heat in that ring. And there was also legitimate heat, from my understanding, backstage regarding this as well. So, Corey, I'm going to call bullshit on you, because the Bellas should not be in the ring. In fact, many Twitter recipients really slammed the Bellas, especially Brie, on this. They said the Bellas should not be in the ring anymore. They should be back on their, so-called reality show. It's time for them to move on. And I have to agree. These two no-talent ring rats who slept their way to the top do not belong in the ring anymore. It's time for the women's revolution to come up. We have better talent that's coming up, minus Ronda Rousey. But we have Alexa Bliss, the Riot Squad. We have Ember Moon. We have so many as well. So, it's time for these two sluts to move aside. Over in the HWR show, George says Ruby got a botch hit from Brie Monday night as well.
Yep.
Didn't she? Yes, she did. And again, that is what's. If you look at the video where they show a close up of Ruby Riot, she actually, you could see the face that she just got this pissed off face. Now, let me just say this: behind the scenes, as soon as Raw went off the air and in the back, there was reports that Brie was continuously apologizing to Liv Morgan and trying to calm a situation, like, look, I'm sorry, please accept my apologies. You know what I would have done if, Johnny, I'm going to toss this really to you. If something like that happened in the old days, you apologize, but if we knew you were grandstanding, we took you to the back of the building and gave you a fucking beating.
Man, we gave you a beating so bad, you'll never do that shit again. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely. You can't do shit like that, bro. It's a smack in the face.
Yeah,
it really is.
And it's a situation where her grandstanding, her trying to be Brie Bella, almost took out a person in starting out in this business.
If that's the thing. You think you're on top. You think you can do whatever you want. Sooner or later, someone's gonna come back. They're gonna fuck you up.
Yeah.
They're gonna come fuck you up. They're gonna be like, all right, now how does it feel now?
Yeah, and
it's been done. It's been done before.
Zoe, you saw the match. It almost looked like that was going to happen between Ruby Riott and Brie Bella.
It should have happened. Honestly, it should have. I mean, oh my God. One botch whenever you first come back, that's understandable. But every daggone match she's had so far, she has botched it. If you pay really close attention to the video with the yes kicks right before that went down, she was not watching Liv Morgan at all. She was not watching to time it. She didn't know where her face was. She was making eye contact with Ruby Riott and Sarah. I mean, that's, if she would have been watching her opponent like she should have, she would have been able to at least fake it a little bit. But now, there's people out there now in WWE who are trying to sit there and say they're making excuses for Bree's botches. They're saying, oh, it's because she's back, it's ring rust, she just had a baby. Apparently,
That's all
whenever
bullshit.
women have babies, they lose their center of balance and gravity. And I got news for you, that's BS. Because whenever I had my kid, honestly, all my balance came back. It was perfect. But I mean, the girl needs to go back and retrain how to handle her moves and how to focus, because obviously it's not working for her. She's going to end up getting somebody, in the same position as Paige or Daniel Bryan was in, and that's going to be on her.
And
Correct.
you know what? I'm going to toss this over to Lance, and then we'll go to Rick real quick. Ever since Brie came back, we saw that, especially with the Riot Squad, they've been their favorite targets. We saw that botched dive where Sarah Logan had to cover it up and just hit her, and then when Brie tried to do that suicide dive on the other side, I don't like the Bellas, and everybody knows I don't, and I always say I hope they break their necks, and unfortunately that almost happened, and I felt bad for Brie because nobody really wants to see these girls break their neck and be out. Well, I do. But
real quick, I think that was Nikki who broke her neck.
Yeah.
Brie was out on maternity.
Okay.
Yep.
So I'm going to toss it to you, Lance. What do you think?
Well, okay. I have a new. I have a new name for the Bellas. The 3 Bs. The botching Bella bitch. That, and with this whole thing, like you said, Joe, Brie needs to be retrained, or at least a refresher course. She's very close to probably one of the best wrestlers in the damn company, being her fucking husband. Go where they live, find a ring, have him teach you some shit. But also, I'm wondering 2 things. What does this mean for the Australia show? Will Liv Morgan be cleared from the concussion protocol? And when will Liv get her receipt?
You know what?
Oh,
I think the situation is going to calm down beforehand. I think what's going to happen is, and this is just purely speculation, and Rick, it's going to go to you final. Somebody's going to pull the Riot Squad over and says, look, Brie is sorry. She's going to be careful next time. Please kiss their ass. And it won't happen again. So I'm going to take care of something real quick. So, Rick, you can take over.
Well, when it comes to that injury, I watched the video, and I remember the first time she did the kick, and I saw Liv Morgan duck her head, and when she went for the second kick, as you said, Brie was not even paying attention, so she got the second kick flush on the head. Now, there was 2 other botches, as you said. There was one where I believe it was Ruby Riott. She had gotten an elbow, and then there was another spot where Liv Morgan was on the apron, and Brie was like, she got flipped over, tossed over, and she went to do a forearm, and she just caught again Sarah Logan in the face. She was getting ready to jump in and say, what the fuck? So she was pissed. Again, as we've all been saying, the Bellas, they rose to the top for many reasons. People want to say they slept their way to the top, so be it. That's probably not too far from the truth, but when it comes to Brie, I truly believe she's in love with her husband, Daniel Bryan. But moving on from there, now the reason why they're really as popular as they are is because they on the first they were on Total Divas, then they get to Total Bellas, so they have these reality shows, and they have to put them on the front line. So, unfortunately, with that, that's what happens. I'm gonna kick it over real quick. I'll switch subjects. Dustin Goldust Rhodes is ready to hang up his boots. Dustin Rhodes recently spoke with Sports Guys Talking Wrestling, where he talked about coming to the end of his career, and this is what he had to say. I quote, I've wrestled just about everybody there is to wrestle, done just about every character in reincarnation that I could possibly come up with. What's next? I'm at the end of my career. I'm about 50 in April. What else is there to do? I don't know. My body's getting older. They're getting younger and faster. It takes a toll on an old man's body, like myself or Kane or Mark Henry or even Taker. You got to do a little bit less. You can't go balls to the wall like they used to. Johnny, I'm going to kick this over to you. You being a wrestler, I don't know if you wrestled anybody that was much younger than you, where you had to keep up, or if you've noticed that throughout the time you kind of had to minimize certain times and certain moves you could do.
You know what? No, I don't think I wrestled anybody younger than me. I think we were pretty much all in the same, maybe like a couple of years younger, a couple of years older. Minimize my time. It was more the promoter who said, go out there, do this in 5 minutes and get the hell out.
All right. Lance, over to you. Your thoughts about Goldust, hanging up the boots. You think it's time, or do you see him maybe venturing elsewhere?
Honestly, venturing elsewhere, I don't think so, because he's already tried to do a few independent runs before. But like he says, he's 50, which is in his body would be roughly probably has about as much wear and tear on it as probably a 70-year-old. So probably not. But he's had round about a 30-year career, give or take. So that's a long ass career, especially in professional wrestling.
He's had longer than that. He was Goldust. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong. That was during the Attitude Era.
Yeah.
And even before then, he was playing. He did Dustin Rhodes over the NWA and WCW.
Yeah, when did he debut that? Around 90, I think.
Something around there. Like I said, don't hold me to the dates, but it's been quite some time. He's had a long road.
Yeah.
Zoe,
Dustin started off. Well,
he started off in
NWA WCW as Dustin Rhodes. Yeah. Then he did that run for a little bit. His father did reconciled during that time, and then he went over to the WWF.
But either way, I see him probably first ballot Hall of Famer.
No, not for a while.
But, well, like I said, I mean, he's definitely in running for that in the future. Actually, I want to kick this one over to Zoe. Now that he's, we could call it Dustin is pretty much wrapped up, there was rumors that he wanted to go to see his brother's promotion, Cody Rhodes in the American Nightmare, for All In, but he couldn't for the obvious reasons because he was associated with WWE. But he made this clear that he is going to be going into All In 2, which is, I don't think a date has been set. So do you think that maybe he decided to hang up his boots and retire so that way Cody and Dustin could work together for All In 2?
Well, the reason I'm thinking that he is planning to retire, honestly, I adore him. I really do. That man, you can give him any character, and he's going to be able to play it to a T. He's wonderful in the ring, even at his age right now. He's overcame a lot, including some addictions. And honestly, I think he might, he probably did. He probably retired to help his brother for All In Part 2, but I think that's going to be a special thing, little guest. I think, personally, he's probably hanging it up, and he's going to go to the Performance Center and help coach.
I am back.
That'd probably be a great thing for them, too.
Now, I want to kick off, this is not in our rundown, but Kayla, you posted this earlier about Hulk Hogan possibly returning to the WWE's Crown Jewel event. Now, as we all know, Hulk Hogan just kind of got back in the good graces of WWE. He's unsettled waters at the moment. Do we even think that he would be welcomed down the Crown Jewel in that Saudi Arabia, considering his racist past?
Well, that's if I was Hulk Hogan, that's the risk I would not want to take. I'm wondering if he does go, is he going to come back, down there as the American version of Hulk Hogan? You know what I mean? Where the mask and the red, white, and blue. But I don't think that's going to happen personally.
Yeah, fair enough. Johnny, real quick, over to you. Hulk Hogan, gone to Saudi Arabia. Like I said, he just got back in the good graces after he made that racist comment, which is controversial. And I think that's the last place he wants to start. Start coming back, unless of course WWE is hoping that he gets lynched.
To be honest with you, you guys may disagree with me. I think it's a good idea because Hogan's still a worldwide name. No matter where you go, you talk about professional wrestling, one of the two names that's going to come up is Hulk Hogan. So to bring him down there, I think will bring in a big audience because he is still a name. No matter how you look at it, you got the Triple H Undertaker match. You bring in Hulk Hogan. You got yourself a nice little trio there. It's gonna. Oh shit, Hogan's coming. So all these. I think it's a good idea to have him come in there. Even though, yeah, it sucks for him, but I think for the business, I think it was a very smart idea.
All right,
Definitely.
Lance, over to you. Final word.
Well, this is probably the best place for him to make a return, if you think about it, where he'd probably have his highest fame. Because let's not forget, these motherfuckers thought Yoko and Warrior were still alive.
That's true.
Oh, they might just grab hire Jay Lethal to play the Macho Man for one night.
They have him anywhere near on TV every damn week? Hell no. But bring him out of the closet once every few events? Okay. Every week? Hell no.
Yep.
Alright.
If I could catch...
I just read this one. Again, Kayla, you posted this. I'm trying to save some of our main topics until Joe comes back.
Yeah, I am back, and I wanted to get a quick thing about Hulk Hogan. And I agree with Johnny here. Hogan is a draw, regardless of what happened, regardless of what's going on, how the business has been screwed over now politically. Hogan is still Hogan, just like Ric Flair is still Ric Flair. They're gonna be a draw. Who knows? These two might even come down in gimmick and just do a little pose down in the ring. Because in Saudi Arabia, like Lance said, they still thought Yoko and Warrior were alive. Hell, let's trim a little bit of Elias's beard, give him the Macho Man outfit, and they'll think he's the Macho Man.
Oh, Jesus.
Don't be surprised if you see the Iron Sheik walking down that aisle or trying to walk down that aisle.
Oh, no, they'll lynch him because Saudi Arabia does not get along with Iran, so that will be bad.
Yeah. Then you'll see a true riot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Real quick.
No, then Hogan beats him again.
Yeah,
Hogan beats him again. The crowd goes wild.
And Joe, you know what? I'm going to kick back to the question because you were away for the moment about Dustin Goldust Rhodes. He's ready to hang up his boots again. He says that he's pretty much done everything there is to be done in the business, so he wants to, he's getting tired because he just can't keep up with the modern day talent. So I suggested, okay, maybe he's going to be done with, wrestling in the ring, but do you see him wrestling outside or doing stuff outside of the ring, but still working within the wrestling world?
You know what? I could see him in the performance center training. I could see him, if it's out of the WWE, which I doubt WWE is going to allow him to do any outside commitments. They'll probably keep him under a Legends deal where when they need him to come back to do like a spot, he'll come back and do a spot. Because the last thing they want is Dustin Rhodes and Cody Rhodes meeting up in a Ring of Honor or an Impact ring or anything of that nature. So you'll still see Goldust, but you'll see him again in the Performance Center, maybe even helping out in NXT, because Goldust, Dustin Rhodes, he wasn't, and I hate to say this because I followed his career since he began in WCW. He started there, then he went over to be with his father in WWE, and then he went back and forth. His career never really hit until he was Goldust. So that's one thing, regardless of anything, he will always be in the WWE because of that chance to be something. Yeah, that chance to be somebody. So expect to see him. You know, he'll. I think it is time for him to hang it up because, like he said, look at the talent. Look at the talent. There is just too many of these young guys in there who will hurt him. You know, look at again the situation with the Bellas and the Riot Squad. You know, this is a new generation. Sometimes these people got to take a thing and just move off.
Yeah.
Well, you know, you mentioned working outside, him working outside the WWE with his brother Cody, and I brought this up again while you were gone. He wanted to go to All In, the first All In, but he couldn't because he was committed to the WWE. And he made it clear even before he announced that his retirement that he will be at All In too. So, what would you think about Dustin and Cody Rhodes working together in a promotion?
You know what? I think, in all honesty, it all depends on his contract with WWE. Right now, we've seen Chris Jericho work with not only Ring of Honor, the All In, but in New Japan. So could they grant him that type of contract that he can, when they need him, he'll come back in? It's something as to that fact. So I think, in essence, if he wanted to go to All In, he will probably have to talk to Vince and say, hey, I want to do this. I want to be with my brother. I want to just be by his side. Yeah, then I could see it happening. It all goes, it all goes by what the WWE agrees to.
Yeah, and again, like I said, that's if, of course, he's still with the WWE under contract. But I want to move on to something a little bit interesting. Kurt Hawkins is actually insisting he wants to keep his losing streak alive. Now, keep this in mind, guys. We always see the longest reigning WWE champion, the first ever, multi-time champion, Grand Slam champion, who has ever actually walked up and said, you know what, I want to have a losing streak. I want to have the longest losing streak ever. And I think, as weird as this sounds, it's brilliant because it's something that nobody thinks about. And you know what, Joe, I'm going to kick it back to you on that one.
You know what? He wouldn't be the first. And I'm going to toss these names out and Johnny's going to laugh. Jake the Milkman Mulligan. The Brooklyn Brawler. Barry O.
Brooklyn Brawler, remember?
Barry O. Terry Gibbs. Mario Mancini. I could go
Mario Mancini, oh my God.
Mikey Whipwreck.
Mikey Whipwreck.
He's a former ECW world champ.
Yep. And you know what? Let's not forget there was one person who actually did this same storyline, and in the end he did win the title. And I, for the love of me, I can't remember his name, but he used to pat himself on the back. Anybody got the
Barry
name?
Horowitz. Barry
Horowitz.
Yep.
Wait a second. What title did he win?
He won the Cruiserweight Championship.
Or was it the light heavyweight, or was it the
light
cruiserweight?
heavyweight, cruiserweight, whichever one the WWE wants to lie about. He actually won that because he was in a losing streak. And
for years.
He cherished it. And then when he got that one win, he started doing the whole pat on the back type deal. And it catapulted for him. So I think...
Now, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Here's a question for George, if he's on. Who did Barry Horowitz beat for his first win?
There you go, George. Who did Barry Horowitz beat for his first win? So we're gonna move off with that, but Rick, again, I like the gimmick too, and now brings up the question though: what would he do if he sees the person? Let's say hypothetically they do a match, and he takes out the person. Kayfabe knocks the guy out with a move, and he says, "Oh God, I'm gonna win. I'm gonna lose my streak." What does he do? Pull the guy on top of him and lie down? And and like the referee has to hold up the guy's arm and like, oh, you won, and then the guy's shaking his head like, what the hell just happened? Will we see that kind of shenanigans?
Possibly, but I guess what happened is, again, he went to W Creative, and he said, look, just talk to Vince and see that, if we can go through with this, because I think it'll work. And I guess Vince gave him the thumbs up. So for right now, I see him going all the way, going in this for a while, because they did want to push him for a title, and he didn't want it.
Yeah.
He's like, no, I'm all set. Like, let me just stick where I am. As far as maybe a botch, unfortunately, that's what would happen, or maybe he would probably have to, push a referee or shove the referee and get some kind of a DQ. Or he might just have to say, screw it, okay, I'll pin the guy and get him out of here as soon as possible.
No, I don't mean an actual botch, like he botches and knocks the guy out. What if he, let's say he did a drop kick and the guy falls and he doesn't get up, okay, and the referees look at him like, well, aren't you going to pin him? and Kurt Hawkins going to look down. If I pin him, I lose my streak. If he pins me, I keep my streak. So I could see the guy lying down, pulling the other person over him, and the referee shrugs and says, whatever. And what's funny is I'm going to toss this to Kayla because, again, to Zoe, because she is the resident current manager, and we have Johnny Suede in the HWR chat room. When you have a worker that's agreeing to lose every match, I think that's godsend. That shows no ego.
Well, I mean, as far as that goes, it is brilliant. It's working for him. I don't think I've ever heard somebody actually be happy about having a losing streak. I mean, it's working for him. I feel bad for him whenever he actually does have to pin somebody because he accidentally knocks them legit out, but who knows?
And George has given us an answer.
What is it?
He defeated Mike Graham in a tournament final to win the vacant NWA Florida Heavyweight Championship.
You're talking about WW. Who did he beat in the WWF to get his first win? I should have rephrased that question.
Yeah, because the funniest thing is...
Anywhere else, he was a fantastic wrestler.
Yeah. Yeah. Because he was very fucking horrible.
Well, unfortunately, I think, that brings up another subject as to, when we talk about promotions or who wins and who loses, it's all up to the promoter. It's all up to the boss. I mean, they could take, somebody like James Ellsworth and make him the face of the WWE if they wanted to, keep in mind.
Correct.
Vince, don't do that.
Oh, for the love of God, don't.
You guys forgot one person who came from Global Wrestling Federation to the World Wrestling Federation, lost some of his matches, got that one big win, and never looked back.
Gee, does it start with 1, 2, 3?
Joey, you're 100% correct.
Actually, you know what? It's funny, back in my early rookie days, I did meet Sean Waltman, and he was a great guy. I'm going to say this right now. It's a little bit of sad news, but... sad news coming out from actual Sean Waltman, X-Pac, was he recently just lost his wife.
Oh, wow. China just died?
Is it his wife or his ex-wife? Because she had...
I believe it was his wife. They reported it as...
But he said he had the mother of his kids, but she also had 2 others that are 7 and 9. I know Pop's kids are both grown.
Yeah, so it had to have been probably the ex-wife, and...
This is actually the article. X-Pac Waltman mourns the loss of his wife.
Yeah.
Former WWE and WCW superstar Sean X-Pac Waltman is in mourning today after losing his wife and mother of his 2 children. Waltman was dealt with the loss of his close friend by an ex-girlfriend, Joni Child Lawler, a few years back, and more recently Brian Christopher. So, it's not been a couple of good years. It's not, for X-Pac.
Yeah.
When you lose friends and then you lose China, regardless of what bad history they had, that's still a part of you. And now losing the mother of your kids, that's another hard shot.
Yeah. Actually, George is correct on one. And I just was going to correct him on it, but he did post it up in July 9th, 1995, and an airing of WWF Action Zone. Barry Horowitz received his first push in the WWE, in the WWF, when he pinned Body Donna Skip, which, for you ECW fans, know him as Chris Candido, the boyfriend of Sunny. So
that's right. No gimmicks needed.
Yep, and in fact, that was the first time that Jim Ross started doing his screaming and said, Horowitz wins, Horowitz wins. So there you go. So that's a little bit of history for everybody there. So I think in the end, you'll see probably a little bit of shenanigans in Hawkins' matches. But again, it's great because in being in the business, when you usually have a lot of egos, and Johnny Suede, Zoe, Johnny here, Perez, we all seen it when we're in the business. People want, oh no, I want a world title shot, I want this shot, I want to move up. When you have a worker that's agreeing to lose, that's hell, to a promoter, to a booker, that's the most greatest thing that's the person you hire for every show. So, I don't know. Rick, go ahead, Zoe.
I was just agreeing. I was saying definitely because you know that you're not going to end up having any drama out of them.
Damn it, I don't want
to win. There are people out there that, again, they complain that they want to get this win, they want to get that win, and you have a person that comes up to you and says, I want to lose. You give that boy a hug, pat him on the back, give him a cupcake, and says, go ahead to the ring. In fact, we'll do the chalk line where you can be pinned right there. And we'll give you a huge push out of it. So, Rick, did you cover...
famous jobber.
Yeah. Rick, did you cover James Storm coming back to the WWE?
Nope, that's on you.
All right. Well, James Storm, for everybody who remembers, was part of Beer Money with Robert Roode back in the Impact TNA days, is reportedly trying to come back to the WWE. He's trying to get back. Now, he was in NXT not too long ago. And Impact TNA, whatever, offered him a contract. And at the time, I believe, too, he was trying to have... him and his wife were trying to have a second child, so he wanted to be home for that. Impact offered him an easy schedule with more money. So he left NXT, went back over to TNA. He left on good graces, because they did like him. And now he's looking to come back since his career was pretty much shitted on back in the new Impact. So I think, you know what, and I'm going to really toss this to Rick because I love bashing Chad Gable as the 16-year-old looking guy. Do you think that Beer Money will come back?
Well, actually, you brought up an interesting point. Because, again, I think that James Storm coming back, believing why he had to leave was 2 years ago, and I think, again, Triple H was very understanding. But what I would really like to see, if they're going to do something like that and bring the two back as a tag team, I don't want to see Beer Money. This is how I would book it. You have, Bobby Roode come into the ring with his glorious, and he's in the ring with his robe, and then all of a sudden, you hear James Storm music. Comes walking down and says, what the fuck are you doing? Just cut something to that effect, like, what is wrong with you? Because you're like a Ric Flair look-alike. So don't get me wrong.
And he's got to come down in the little beer truck that he used to ride on.
No, I think that'd be too early for that.
Hell no.
Yeah. Maybe. Again, I think WWE might see that too much of too corny. If anything, I think he would do like a Stone Cold like beer truck, possibly again later down the road. Should he get to that level? Right now, he's going to be going to NXT before he even hits the main roster. So you're looking at another 1, maybe 2 years before we even see him on Raw. Well, should that happen?
You know what? I'm going to disagree with you, and I'm going to toss it over to Lance. I think he proved his worth in NXT. I think if he did return, it will be under a new thing where he goes straight to the main roster. Because let's face it, you know, Rick Rude, may he rest in peace. Bobby Roode's glorious is not so glorious right now when they're teaming him up with little boy Chad Gabriel. And it's nothing taken away from Chad Gabriel. He is a tremendous worker. But when you look at the guy, he's more suited for 205 Live. Because he's just got that young face. He needs to grow the beard and a goatee or whatever, make him look older or put a mask or whatever. But Rude is being floundered there. He showed great promise and he was doing really well, and now he's just stuck. So I think what needs to be done is, I agree. James Storm comes down, the music is playing, looks at Chad Gabriel, looks at Rude, knocks out freaking Chad Gabriel and says, "What the hell are you doing? You know, this is not you." The fans are smart enough that they know who the Beer Money is. And I think they'll probably capitalize on that. Because I don't think they want to go the whole Stone Cold, throwing the beer around, coming in the beer truck, because that's Stone Cold's gimmick. I think they will just make it a simpler version of it. Here's some beer. Remember where we came from. Let's go. I can see Rude looking down at Chad Gabriel, looking at James Storm, looking down at Chad Gabriel, kicks Chad Gabriel, and walks away with James Storm, and they go back to being a tag team because... You know what, well, Lance? They don't have tag teams.
No, but this is actually kind of how I see Storm coming back in. All right, we got the next takeover in November. I kind of see them doing the typical guy they just signed. For some reason, have him sitting in the damn crowd like they always do. He might run a few matches in NXT, just do a little short run, debut at Rumble, and then I'll go from there. But also down and go, "Boy, what the hell are you doing? You used to be the damn money man. What the hell are you doing looking like Nature Boy?"
Yeah, I you know what? I'm going to toss it to Johnny. I think in WWE's probably in their mind currently, I think they will rush it a little faster because right now they are needing tag teams. Because if you do break up Gabriel and the glorious Gable, they're going to look to put a tag team quickly together because right now they have no teams in Raw. That's really stands out. So, Johnny, you think they're going to move up Storm's storyline faster?
I have no idea, to be honest with you, man. I haven't even watched that, so I can't even comment on it. I really can't. The only thing I can say is that thank God that cat's out of the room because it was really annoying the shit out of me.
The pussy wanted to be rubbed.
Absolutely.
That pussy wanted to be rubbed. Somebody had to rub the pussy. So. Cat! Pussy cat. You sick fucking perverts.
Last night, Joe.
Yeah, I know, right?
Joe, real quick, when you talked about Chad Gable, about how
I thought you was going to say Joe Quick. You want to talk about the pussy?
Let's
talk about the pussy in the room.
Yeah, all right.
But if you guys remember years ago, AJ Styles, he still has that baby face, but he grew a beard.
Yeah.
He does have, when he wasn't shaved, even though he's getting a little bit older, you can tell that he still looks very, very young for his age, even though he's in his 40s. Chad Gable isn't too much younger than him, so I agree with you, Joe. If he grew a beard or a goat or just something very simple, it would give him that older look. The real question is...
A stubble would help.
Yeah.
Oh.
Go ahead, Rick.
But, yeah, again, like I said, I think something like that would give him that little extra look. Because right now, He's coming down, almost looking like a Kurt Angle wannabe. He should have been Kurt Angle's son. That would have fit perfectly. But, anyways, long story short, yeah, he could just make that small change, and I think would really work well for him.
All right. Let's go to you, Zoe.
I really can't comment on it because I never did actually watch, James Storm or anything like that. Chad Gable, I mean, he needs to be repackaged completely. WWE's making him look like a fool, even though he's got tremendous in-ring talent.
Let's go off the subject of let's stick to the subject here of Chad Gabriel, because again, the kid does have, and he's not a kid, he's an adult, but when you see him, it just reflects as a young kid, which is good. Hell, I hope that when I'm in my 60s, I look as good like that. But the point is, he's in the big man's side faction, Raw brand, and there's the cat is getting in the car. Sounds like he's calling an Uber.
My car.
The cat's calling an Uber.
Wait a minute. It is the
Zoe.
The Uber of West Kentucky.
Oh, come on now.
Look at your screen. Look at the screen.
Oh my god.
God.
That's pecking the wood there.
I love you guys so much. Oh my god.
But you know what? It's funny. They need to repackage the guy, and I would to save this kid's career. It would be funny if somebody came down and actually said, we did some investigating in this thing regarding your son. Guess what? Jason Jordan's not your son. Chad Gabriel is.
Okay.
And it's like Jason Jordan
Dude,
was just
he knows
using
Chad
you.
Gable would
No.
get up.
He was
No,
Chad
God,
Gabriel.
no.
He
Jason
was
Jordan was
running down
just
that
using
ramp,
you.
jumping for joy.
Yeah.
I honestly think that would be a horrible mistake because, like as you guys said right now, he's on a, he's kind of in that middle where they really don't know where to put him or how to give him that push that he justly deserves. To give him that angle, people would even just look down on him even more. So for me, that's a heavily no on that one.
Yeah, it's kind of hard, it's when you have a situation like that, it's very hard to do something with a guy like him. Great talent, but when you look around at the rest of the people in the room, like Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, Braun Strowman, Finn Balor, these guys are huge. You got Drew McIntyre.
It's a bit different, the Finn thing.
Yeah, it's.
I don't know about Finn Balor. He ain't huge, bro. He's like 102 pounds.
Kind of a string bean.
Mhm.
Yeah, but he's still tall. So the point is, you see Chad Gable walking in the ring with these guys. He's like a little kid. So
He's a midget.
I think he should have gone like they should do a story like he's lost himself. Like he'll appear in 205. He'll appear on Raw. He will appear on SmackDown, trying to find himself. Where does he fit?
Who am I? Where do
Yeah.
I belong?
Yeah, I lost my smile.
I lost my height.
Oh jeez.
Can't lose something you never had.
Hey, now.
That's right.
Yeah,
He's trying to find his height.
Great.
Are you saying that he can't get it up?
Hey, he hears about the Uber Westchester. I'm sure that woodpecker come out too.
Yeah. It gets me through in the night.
Wow.
Kind of record that when I'm about to make love to the wife. Okay, I got to get it up. Uber of
Oh,
Westchester.
my
There we
God.
go.
Well, you know what? Maybe you should cover that.
Down and kill.
What's that? So yeah, you know what, folks, we're coming to the end, but we got one last topic, and it's kind of an important one because you see them on TV, they're being pushed as baby faces, and they're top stars, and they do something that annoys the shit out of people.
The Bellas?
No, those are sluts. We leave them be. But the people that we are talking about is Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins, two members of the Shield. Over the weekend, Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins walked into Bruce's 24-hour store and had a small altercation with a fan that was in the store. Apparently, Reigns was upset when the fan took a few pictures of him. Reigns told him not to take any pictures of him. It's like makes him feel like he was an animal in a cage. A few kids walked up to Seth Rollins and asked to take a picture with him, but he outright refused. Braun Strowman and Alexa Bliss showed up in the store, and they were nice to the customers. I'm sure they took a lot of pictures with everybody, but the thing is, here are two guys who are holding the two top belts in your company, and you're in a public place. No matter what, you are the face of the company. If a kid comes up to you, if grandma comes up to you, if mom walks up to you, and they want to take a picture with you, these people pay for your salary. You better goddamn put on the fake smile, put the hugs in, and take it, because a little slip up like this, it can cost you a career, and people are going to look at you like, yo, you're an asshole. Now we really don't like you. Let me toss that around. I'm going to toss it around to first the workers in the room, then we're going to go the other way and speak to the others. But the situation came up to me back in my manager days. Here I am, the bad guy manager, and I'm outside, and here are these people running at me wanting to take pictures. And back then we had the little Kodak cameras, and the little snappy cameras. Everybody, knowing that I was a bad guy, and I knew that I was the heel, and I should be saying, get out of my face, kid, and all this. No, I stopped to take pictures with the fans, sign autographs, tell them thank you for supporting us, and I went on my way. The promoter later said, you broke kayfabe, but you did it for a good reason. Thank you. So, Johnny, I don't know if you were there, but we had the similar situation when we did a big show. You and your partner defeated the Haas brothers, and fans were coming up to you guys, even though they knew you were the bad guys, and they were just booing you loudly, almost out of the building, but they came up to you guys for autographs.
We used to say, you know what? You were booing us. Why should we take a picture with you? You give me a good reason, and I'll take a picture. Yeah, and they come up with all these stupid excuses, and yeah, of course you're going to take the picture with them. But, you got to kayfabe a little bit, then give them what they need.
Exactly. They're the ones paying for your salary. Let's go to you, Zoe.
Well, I mean, as far as it goes, I'm newly a heel. So as of right now, if it's a kid or, an adult who has some mental issues, yeah, obviously I'm going to take a picture with them, but I'm going to be like, oh my God, I'm not getting paid to do this. I better be getting paid extra for having to take pictures with all these annoying people. You know what I mean? But as a face, even on my worst days, I remember back at TSW, first promotion I was at, I was a face, and I was having a huge argument with my husband at the time. I was grouchy as could be, but whenever somebody came up to me, can I take a picture? Can I take a picture? I threw that fake smile on it. Oh, yeah, come on, It's just, and with Roman, I mean, I kind of see to the point where he's coming from, because everybody absolutely hates him. You know what I mean? And on top of it, it was the daughter of the fan who had been reporting this. So we don't know truly what went down that night. We don't know if maybe there was, an argument, an altercation beforehand or anything.
Well, you know what? And I'm going to chime in that I think it was just that no matter if they hate you or not, you're a superstar.
Right.
People see you. People want to be taking a picture with you. regardless if they hate you, they love you, you're still a celebrity. You know.
Exactly. And you can keep kayfabe and still do it. I mean, like I said, I acted like I was so annoying and I got really loud and obnoxious about it. So I was still technically Zoe Nightshade whenever I was having to do that.
Exactly. Let's go to you, Lance. You're popular, especially with the Buy the Shirt.
Buy the shirt.
Shameless plugs there.
Damn right. On SkuldronShop.com. Anyway.
In the shop section.
Yeah, there you go. Face, there's no way they can. Somebody should be able to get out of that. Like, say, a Roman or a Dean, or Roman Dean or Seth. They have no way of getting out of that. If they're working heel, they kind of can. Sometimes can, sometimes don't have to. Because, hell, I mean, Jericho, when he's working heel, won't even let the company sell merch. So, there's kind of a gray area when you're working heel, from what I've seen. Face, no, you got to kiss the babies, hug the grandma, all that kind of thing. That's your part of your damn job. Heel, yeah, you're kind of 50-50 on if you have to do that or not, the way I see it.
Final word, Rick. Let's go on to you.
Well, first I want to. I think Roman Reigns really used a bad choice of words. Because when they took a picture, and I would have been like, well, he goes, don't take pictures of me. He was like, I'm an animal in a cage. I'm like, well, you do call yourself a big dog, and you were working in Hell in a Cell, so I think it fits.
Oh.
I mean, I don't think he was thinking about that. But this is an honest question, and I think, with all due respect to the talent and the crew who's worked in the industry, it's a really weird catchphrase, but you have to wonder, when is a celebrity, any celebrity, trade their passion for glory, where they're living for those persons to walk up and say, hey, I love your music, let me sign it, to the point where, like, oh, fuck, here they come, I don't want to see them. There's got to be some kind of a line that eventually that happens. As to why Roman and Seth and Roman were the way they were, who knows? Maybe they just don't like people in general.
You know what? And that's a very fair point. And again, in the era that we live in right now, there is no kayfabe. So you're basically, these guys, regardless if it's Roman Reigns or Rockstar Spud, these guys are the face of the company. They are representing a multi-million-dollar company. They're seen more on TV than any other celebrity. It boils down to, if the fans see you in the corner, they like, oh, there he is. Let's. If you got a few minutes to spare, do it, or graciously say, look, I'll take 1 or 2 pictures, folks, but I'm in a hurry. I got to go to my next match. There's diplomatic ways around this. So I think in sense, you're in this position, you are the face of a company, you're doing all these Connor for Cancer Connor, whatever, you're doing all these Make-A-Wish foundations. One little incident in a store where a fan wants to be really into, oh man, that's a WWE wrestler, I want to take your picture, I want to shake your hand. You take it, and you should appreciate it, because that's great today. 10 years, 20 years from now, they're going to look at you and say, who? And
you're going to be looking for that, remember me? Remember me?
Let's ask Virgil that question.
But you know what? As funny as it is, Lance made a fair point. We still remember Virgil. Yes, okay, right now he's more known, unfortunately, for being a guy who was desperate for money. But I think, when you look at guys like Roman, Seth, Dean Ambrose, even Dolph Ziggler, these guys are some of the top big names. So, God forbid, even if they've fallen from grace, the fans are still going to remember who they are. But that's just, again, a personal thought. I mean, I want to come to that.
Exactly. All right, fans, we're come to the end of our show. With that, you know what that means. Before we go to everybody's little ads and all that. I'm going to put up some posters here so you can see on your screen. This Friday night, tomorrow night, in fact, at 6 o'clock. Okay. They changed the date. It is 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. It is live from Las Vegas on pay-per-view. Ring of Honor's Death Before Dishonor. And you can actually see the build-up on it on YouTube. If you go to Ring of Honor on YouTube, you can see all the build-ups to these matches. So again, Mike, I stand corrected. Friday, tomorrow night, at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So that is live on pay-per-view. Check that out. In my area, we have Pro Wrestling Rampage, which they do their Saturday, October 13th show. And door opens at 6 o'clock Eastern. So if you're in the Erie, Pennsylvania area, check these guys out. They're the local indie promotion in my area. Great bunch of workers. You know, you gotta see, you know. Speaking about great bunch of workers, let's not forget the Kentucky's own wrestling workers, which Miss Vicious Vixen herself, Zoe, is part of. Take it away, Zoe.
Well, we are Kentucky's Own Wrestling. For the first time, we are actually going to be in Casey County, Kentucky this Saturday night. Bell time is at 6 p.m. Come out there, meet all your favorite wrestlers if you're close to being, anywhere around Casey County. It's going to be an outdoor show. Really excited for it. And, of course, we're going to be bringing the carnage.
All right. Rick, there is a promotion in your area, I believe, as well.
Actually, I think it's September 29th. I actually don't know where it's at, to be honest with you.
That's why I got it for you. I got it ready for you.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. This is the first I've heard of it till you told me. And I saw a couple of posters, just a very generic poster where they have Tony Atlas, who's still wrestling to this day.
Thank you, Lance.
Yeah, it's a joke that he's wrestling still. But, of course, with Hardcore Wrestling Radio, you can always catch us over at the HWR chat room. We keep you up with the latest news and rumors. We also post a lot of our personal blogs and our personal thoughts. We're one of those chat rooms that, you say what you want to say, how you want to say it. We're not this PG-rated, family-friendly, you don't like us, get the fuck out. That type of personality.
God damn it, that's right.
Yeah, real quick, I'm going to do another shout-out also to check out BC Games and More, BC and Mrs. A. They're one of our regulars in the HWR chat room. It's always great to see them. Every Tuesday night, they go live where they talk about retro games, retro action figures, and other things. So check them out every Tuesday night. Great bunch of people. And they are BC Games and More. So here we go. We're finally down to us. Rick, you are in charge of, you're the captain on this wacky Titanic. Tell everybody where they can find us and what's going on.
Well, gee, you guess you should call the wacky TNA while you're at it, but all right, I'll take that. Someone will compliment.
No, we're not going to insult you with that TNA. Unless you mean tits and ass, then that's a different story.
Well, Hardcore Wrestling Radio, as I said before, we are over in Facebook in the groups channel. That way, you yourself, you want to post something, want to write an opinion about something, please feel free. I do a lot of tribute videos. That's over on our HWR show, where, of course, you can catch all the archives of all our podcasts. We've done some interviews with some great legends, such as Nikolai Volkov and a future Hall of Famer, Rhino, and many, many others. And, of course, always check us out, all of our past four-quarter rants. And I do a lot of other stuff outside of wrestling. Right now, I'm working on American Horror Story Hotel Wallpaper, and that should be up pretty soon.
All right, let's go quickly because she has to sign out. She is the Vicious Vixen from Kentucky's Own Wrestling. She is Zoe Nightshade. Zoe, tell everybody where they can find you and what's happening.
Okay, well, like I was saying a few moments ago, you can find me at Casey County this coming Saturday night, or you can find me on my fan page, Zoe Nightshade, and you can always find me on the HWR chat room on Facebook.
and she is the new manager of KCW Tag Team Champions. Again, congratulations to you on that.
Thank you so much.
It's always great to be the manager of champions.
Oh, hell yeah.
All right.
All right, with that, I gotta say goodbye, guys. I love you.
Take care. He is.
Love you. Goodbye.
Later.
See you later, Zoe.
She didn't get to say the Uber Westchester, but we'll try to. I'll have Lance say it. He probably could sound sexy.
No.
It's all right. I'll do it.
No, nobody does it. Goddammit, nobody.
Yeah, we don't want to tarnish it.
Well,
Hell no. Come on, you do.
he is not here tonight, but if you're into the paranormal and love shows from the UK, definitely check out www.stokedhaunted.com. He is, and that son of a bitch, Andy, he hosts Stoked Haunted. So he'll go out there, he won't bullshit you, he will show you the real thing if it's there or not. So if you want to see someone harass the ghosts and literally try to piss them off, that's Andy. So check him out, stokedhaunted.com. He also is on YouTube and other platforms, so check him out. He is the incomparable one, Lance Moss. Lance? I should call him Lance by the shirt Moss. Tell everybody about it.
The incompetent one. Anyway, every once in a while I go live on Lance Moss TV and Friends. I never know who's going to show up. Just like most of the crew showed up last night. And tomorrow or Friday I put out my Redneck Gourmet series. It's going to be cheesy cauliflower cheesy bread. And, well, you can also hit me up on Twitter. It's at Lance Moss TV.
Alrighty. He is the Uber of Westchester. I can't say it as good as she does. But
Nobody can.
I know. Instead of woodpeckers, you have people pelting me with woodpeckers.
Damn it.
Yeah.
Well, if you want, you know what, you can you can do the Adam Cole one. You know, it's the Uber Westchester, baby.
Oh my God! You guys just screwed it all up. Just want you to know that. Destroyed the whole Uber Westchester thing. Really,
We're hardcore wrestling radio. What'd you expect, man? Come on.
Hey.
At least I didn't do the Mike Adamley version. It's the Uber of Northchester.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
Or you can have William Shatner say, "He is the Uber of Westchester."
Oh Jesus! Let's just finish it, Joe. Just
all right, go
at the moment.
Tell everybody where they can find you, Johnny.
Absolutely. I am the Uber Westchester. I am here to let people know that there's plenty of money to be made out there. If you guys want to drive for Uber, now's the time. There's plenty of bonuses and incentives for all new drivers. You want to check out my YouTube page, see how much I do weekly on a part-time basis, check it out, the Uber of Westchester on YouTube. Also, check out my Instagram, the Uber Westchester. Just put the underscore under every word.
There you go. And with that, I am the host, Joseph Scoldren Knight, and you can find me. Just do the hashtag Scoldren's Realm, and I am on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. When I do video games, actually, I'm going to be posting up this weekend some blogs again. I'm going to go back to doing the review of blogs. I'm going to post up the Orville, as well as other movies and stuff that I've been watching. Also some retro stuff, old classic movies and TV shows. So I'm going to be posting that up. You can also check me out when I do my games. Last night I was doing since it is the birthday of Nintendo. They turned 41 years old. If you're into just the gaming aspect. For the company, they actually turned 143, I believe. That's what BC and Mrs. A informed me when they started out.
That's console.
Yeah, this was pre-console, so yes.
Okay.
And with that, I did a tribute to them by playing Super Castlevania 4, which is an excellent game on the Super Nintendo, and I'm gonna finish Part 2 tonight. I am up to Dracula's Castle, so we're gonna get to the end of it tonight. And that'll be in about half an hour, 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. You can check me out. Just go to ScoldrensRealm.com. That is my Facebook. You want to talk to me on Twitter, it's at Scoldren. And as all the guys here, we have some T-shirts available. So if you want to check out the T-shirts, we would appreciate it. If you buy our shirts, it helps with our addictions to the insanity. So just go to ScoldrensRealm.com shop, and you'll see the Lance Moss TV t-shirt. Buy the shirt, the t-shirt, my t-shirt, Rick's t-shirt, Johnny's t-shirt, Zoe's t-shirt, every t-shirt. Homemade t-shirt, had a farm. So
you get a t-shirt, you get a t-shirt, you get a t-shirt, you get a t-shirt. Everybody gets a t-shirt.
Everybody gets a t-shirt. So check it out. You'll like what we got. George is our sponsor for t-shirts, so he's a great guy. We thank you again for purchasing our shirts. And with that, folks, I'm going to say thanks for watching. We will be on. I know I will be on tomorrow night to definitely cover Ring of Honor's Death Before Dishonor. So with that, guys, have a nice night. And Lance,
buy the shirt.
It's plural. Buy the shirts.
no, I think
Buy
it's.
the
I thought it's. By the what?